I've had a great deal of pleasure trying to do exactly very, very much what my father did. He had very, very strong ideas of health and also of type. He knew exactly what he thought would be a longevity animal, and he wanted to have a cow with substance, and he also concentrated tremendously on milk. So I was taught like that. Although I wasn't doing the cows with, I would hear him talk a lot about it. So I absorbed. I feel I'm doing all right if I get that award. It makes me feel very good, as if I was really getting somewhere. If I hadn't gotten the award, I'd be wondering. You know, that makes a great deal when we go to sell cattle that they know that Ardrossan has been recognized by Dairy Shrine. It means a lot to me.
Hope Scott's average day starts at 8 a.m. Breakfast is at 8:15, accompanied by a pile of mail, a glance at the newspapers, and getting ready for the daily phone call from her excellent general manager, Chet Bilheim. This call comes about 8:40. Chet reports on everything that has happened at the farm in the last 24 hours. Discussions include all aspects of the farm operation, personnel or herd problems, what to plant in the pastures, with particular attention to soil conservation. Hope Scott has run the Ardrossan farms since 1949. At about 9 a.m., Scott reviews the farm books, records of milk production and data generally concerning the herd. Also, this is the moment when she can be telephoned by her family and friends, as well as attending to her other projects. In addition to her management of the Ardrossan farms, Scott is particularly active in the Devon Horse Show and Country Fair, with which she's been associated for 30 years or so. She's chairman of the board and executive vice president, as well as holding other titles of responsibility. Though the actual horse show and country fair lasts for 10 spectacular days, preparation and effort is constant and without let-up during the whole year. This event averages a donation of $300,000 to the Bryn Mawr Hospital yearly. As well as being a committee member for other charities, Scott has been a trustee and patron of the Brandywine Conservancy since it started in 1971. The Brandywine River Museum, which collects and exhibits 19th and 20th century illustrations, is best known for its artworks by 3 generations of the Wyeth family. At about 11 o'clock, Scott is in her car and off to do chores. A stop at the horse show office, perhaps the farmer's market, and so forth. Chores done, it's 1:30. Hope Scott has returned home to prepare lunch for Edgar, who has been her charming husband for 65 years. Lunch together in the kitchen. A favorite interim. Relaxing and intimate. Around 3 p.m., Scott goes to the farm. She must pass the meadows where the heifers graze. They are segregated according to age, each group in its own pasture. Acres of land are planted with corn and alfalfa in order to provide food for the animals. This field is earmarked to grow hay in the spring. After harvesting, its gentle hillside becomes a pasture. We come to the main barn of Ardrossan Farms. The barn was built in 1720. A partial view of some of the extra buildings added by Scott. To the 2 existing milking barns, Scott added a much-needed third, also a milk house, and a number of auxiliary buildings. Edgar, Hope Scott's husband, added a lovely barn for the baby calves. Here are the 2 silos. They will be filled to the very top. Agway Incorporated has been advising the farm and feeding the herd for many years, and is greatly responsible for the high milk production. Extra silage is stored in giant plastic bags. Much food is needed to feed the 300 animals. Heavy equipment is essential to the cultivation of the fields. M.S. Yearsley and Son, Incorporated, have supplied Ardrossan Farms with most of the farm's excellent equipment. Yearsley also generously lends 4 tractors annually to the Devon Horse Show. Mary Reamer, the Scots granddaughter in the green skirt, knows every man, woman, child, and cow on the farm and would be capable of taking over if Scott were absent. In hot weather, Scott arrives at the barn with sodas and refreshments for the personnel. Rosetta Lee, the herd's senior milk cow, is proudly brought forward by Heinz Milke, the talented herd manager. Rosetta yielded over 20,000 pounds of milk again during her last lactation. Rosetta Lee is led through a disinfectant footpath before re-entering the milking barn. The milk herd responds to the herd manager's cheerful and coaxing call. There are about 125 cows in the milking herd alone. Of their own volition, the cows will each head for their own assigned milking barn, finding their individual stanchions without human help. First, they too must pass through the disinfectant footbath and are gently showered at the same time from above, a pleasant sensation in hot weather. In the barn, they wait to be milked, relaxed and confident. Of course, the baby calves must have a visit from Scott too. Penfield Corporation is doing a fine job with the feed for the calves and the dry cows. After the milking, the cows start their independent procession back to the fields. These 2 enchanting small children arrive every day at this time, as they are convinced that the herd would never make it without their assistance. It is now 5:30. Scott has returned to her husband, and they share the events of the day. Hope Scott was Philip Barry's inspiration for his play and film, The Philadelphia Story. Katharine Hepburn starred in both, and remains a good friend of the Scotts until this day.